It's landed for summertime. The new Betfair app is here. Better odds are now easier and faster to find. The new Betfair app. Download it today. Betfair.com.au.
Always gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-858-858.
Lawn bowling is more than just a game. There's no talking on the green.
Genuine 1972 prices.
There's nothing this soft. Just stick it right up and right up.
Welcome to Without Bias. Local legends wanted. The Bowls Green is just up the road. Search bowls clubs near me. Stay engaged with the sport via The Bowl Show. Sundays on 7-2 from 2:30pm.
Hello and welcome to Without Bias, the first of 2021, and a happy new year to you. I hope you had a wonderful evening and were able to stay safe and enjoy things and festivities as much as possible on New Year's Eve, and we hope you had a great Christmas as well. This is SEN's dedicated Lawn Bowl show, Without Bias, for the Bowl Show, Sundays on 7-2 from 2:30pm, and a big thanks to our very good friends at Apia, proudly supporting Bowls Australia. Joined as always by everyone's favourite Jackaroo, Barrie Lester. Hello to you and Happy New Year, mate.
Happy New Year, Sam. We made it, mate, and it's a very exciting year ahead, no doubt.
It's got that feel about it, doesn't it? I mean, we're not through totally COVID yet, as we know, but hopefully there's a sense for optimism all around the place, and especially from a lawn bowls point of view, because it's going to be a massive year, and that's going to be the focus of the show this morning. As we look ahead to what's to come in 2021, there is a packed calendar, a stacked calendar of brilliant events, and they get started very, very soon. So we officially put 2020 behind us, Barrie Lester, and we look ahead now to what Bowls in Australia has to offer from a events and high performance perspective. So who better to take us through it than a man like yourself, Barrie Lester, who's on the cusp of 200 international appearances for our great nation. Let's look ahead to what 2021 will bring. So 2020, a year that we'd like to forget. 2021, it's going to be a huge year. National, international events. We've got something big in just about every single month. How excited are you to return to the big stage?
I'm learning how to juggle calendars, if that makes sense, Sam. It's quite a unique year ahead because you've got to look at the World Bowls calendar, Bowls Australia calendar. Then you look through our state-based calendars, your district, your club, and trying to juggle everything and prioritise, because when you look at the calendar that's ahead of us, you really want to, I guess, look at like a traffic light system, the red, the amber, the green, and really make sure that you got your events listed and what your priorities are and what your goals are set out next to them, those priorities. And that's what we do with the high performance team and our coaches and staff. We set out our years well in advance, and we look at what we're playing in and what are our goals and expectations. And it's so excited to play in these events such as the BPL, because BPL now, it's really gone worldwide. It's massive, huge crowds, great attendances, and the viewership is ongoing post event, because I know a lot of people worldwide are quite envious of the BPL event and would love to participate in it, and who knows where it could go in the future, but it's a great event to participate in.
Yeah, absolutely pumped about this BPL season, Barrie Lester. Let's get stuck into that first and foremost. It's February the 23rd to the 26th at Moama, BPL 12. No greater stage to showcase that new age of bowls than through the BPLs. 20 hours of live broadcast, Fox Sports, KO, Sky Sport NZ, $100,000 in prize money, and all the stars of the sport, including your good self, lined up across the 8 licensed teams. This is the event that the players love and live to play in.
No doubt, Sam, and I think the format too, we thrive on it, especially with this coming back into this new year and new events. I think people are really looking forward to the short, sharp formats and that excitement. So all around Australia, you've still got a lot of competitions going on domestically, but from I guess an elite perspective, this event is what everyone's really, really excited about. And like as you say, the prize money is pretty much just a bonus, because you just want to play alongside and with these types of players. You want to play in that environment, and the fact that you might feature in the finals and get some prize money, that's just a bonus, because day in, day out, you got bowl after bowl, high quality action, and it's probably the hardest competition in the world to win, because every bowl has an outcome, because it's 3 bowl pairs and they're short, sharp games.
course, the music, the entertainment, there's the rock and roll element to it. It is just a heap of fun. These are the sides, as we know so far. So the Adelaide Pioneers, Scott Thalborn, Wayne Rudiger, Rebecca Van Ash, coached by Les Carter. The Brisbane Pirates, Jeremy Henry, Aaron Houston, Kira Burke, coached by Michael Breen. The Murray Steamers, Ryan Bester, Michael Walker, Caitlin Inch, coached by Dave Ferguson. Sydney Lions, Ben Twist, Aaron Sheriff, Karen Murphy, coached by Steve Glasson. Tweedhead Ospreys, Aaron Tees, Corey Wedlock, Chloe Stewart, coached by Wayne Turley. The Melbourne Roys, Aaron Wilson, Matthew Flapper, Carla Krizanich, coached by Ian Ewing. The Melbourne Pulse, your very good self at the helm there, Gary Kelly, Ellen Ryan, and coached by Mark Casey, your very good mate. And then the Perth Suns, Lee Schranner, Cody Packer, Christina... how do I say Christina's last name there?
Christic, yep.
Christic, that's right. I was so close.
You've had a couple of tough ones there, actually, to be fair.
No, I have, and apologies if I've got any of them wrong. And coached by Peter Harris. So, star-studded every side, big names everywhere you look.
Yeah, most definitely. And the thing about it, you've got a bit of international flair as well. So, Gary now resides in Sydney, but he's an Irish superstar, and likes of Jeremy Henry, also the Irish flair. And then you've got your homegrown heroes and the likes of Karen Murphy, Aaron Sheriff, and so on. So that's what we like about the event. Over the years, we've had Alex Marshall and various other international players, and that's what I like, because it does engage with their fan bases as well back home in their respective countries. And that just helps the event get out there even bigger and better. So the more players we've got from all around the country and overseas, the better for the event.
April then sees the second of the three BPLs contested for the year, with BPL 13 returning to the traditional home of the event, Club Pine Rivers, north of Brisbane, April 20 to 23. Fair to say, Pine Rivers fans will be ready to lift the roof off 18 months without a BPL event. The whole bowls community hoping Club Pine River can bring out unquestionably the greatest bowler of the modern era, Alex Marshall, MBE, from Scotland for their Pirates team again. He'll be missed in Feb at BPL 12.
He'll be sorely missed, and if we can get him back for the next one at Pine Rivers, that'd be fantastic, Sam. And he makes his bowls talk on those greens there. Even though they've got new surfaces, it won't matter much to him. But they thrive off his gamesmanship, the way he goes about it, and he's a really bit of a hero there. Not just to the local fans, but he's a bit of a hero for all the spectators that have come to watch all the other teams as well, and they get right behind him and appreciate him in playing in the event. So Pine Rivers is one of those places you play at, Sam. You sort of pinch yourself and you say, well, I've sort of made it. Playing in a big league competition, one of the best clubs in the world, and they treat us players with first-class hospitality.
So Dandenong Club, a club you've got allegiances to, it's a big year for them as well. Starting in March, they'll host the Make-Up Australian Champion of Champions across 2 days, March 24th and 26th. Always a great competition. Just men's and women's representative from each state and territory competing in singles for entry into the World event, which paves the way for a consistent club-level player to potentially earn a world title, which is bloody exciting.
I've had a lot to do with Dandenong Club over the years. They're a massive success story, almost from a bowl section point of view, probably down to 30 or 40 members. They've turned it around to be over 200 plus members. Really good forward thinking and planning, and sees them host these types of events. So I'll be down there in 3 weeks' time playing a Melbourne Roys v Melbourne Pulse challenge, and that'll be the warm-up to the first BPL, and look forward to seeing everyone at Dandenong Club. And it's just brilliant facilities. But the Australian Champions, it's an event where, from an individual perspective, you've won your respective state championships as a champion of champion. You want to win the Australian title and then go on and challenge the world, being that champion of champions. And it's a very, very prestigious title, like I said. And the Dandenong Club and the local crowds will be treated some unbelievable bowls.
So they're going to be centre stage again, the Dandenong Club, in May for the make-up event, this time another make-up event, this time the Australian Championships event, May 24th, 28th. This sees all state and territory champions coming together to contest the national title. So another big opportunity for Dandenong Club, put themselves on the bowls map, solidify their name among the great bowls clubs in this country.
Yeah, I must admit it's one of my favourite events. The fact that if you can win a state title is very hard to do. Across your state, you're looking at maybe up to a dozen games to be a state champion, and then you come up against the Australia's best from other states, and there's always big names there. And I think with this year, with so many events on, I think we're expecting decent crowds and everyone to really come along and support either their local state players or even their international players. So I think it's a big event. It's been traditionally played in Merimbula, and the fact that Dandenong's taken it over. Merimbula set the bar pretty high, Sam, and Club Sapphire up there under Michael Wilkes, and I'm sure Rob Sharp and Ross Dunlop and the boys will do a great job at Dandenong Club.
Hey, come June, Barrie Lester, you're going to be a very busy man. Big month in your neck of the woods. Come June 2021 this year, the Trans-Tasman Test Series contested across 3 Gold Coast clubs, June 4th to 6th, followed up by the $25,000 prize money Australian Open across 13 Gold Coast clubs over 14 days in action, June 12th to 25th. I reckon at that point you'll be pretty happy you made the move up to Burleigh Heads, my friend.
Yeah, I remember a couple of years ago, I think it was leading into the 2018 Commonwealth Games, I spent 5 weeks of major competitions on the Gold Coast. And that was definitely a trigger point then to say maybe there might be something in that to move up to Queensland. And I was very fortunate to come to Burleigh Heads Bowls Club. But yeah, the fact that a lot of those events are on my doorstep, and I know that I'm already acclimatised. It took a little while, but I'm feeling much more acclimatised now, and especially with the humidity this time of year. And there are all the little things you need to be, and the fact that I can play in some of those events and know that some of the boxes are already ticked, as opposed to having to look at your travel, etc. But yeah, mate, those are a couple of events there. They're pinnacle events. The Australian Open, I think they'll be bigger and better than ever. And the Trans-Tasman, well, it's one of the best rivalries in lawn bowls going around. So if I can play in those and do well in those, we push forward to ideally what comes next, and that's the World Championships and so on from there.
Sam Hargraves, Barrie Lester with you on a Sunday morning, our dedicated lawn bowl show on SEN. Stay engaged with the sport via the bowl show Sundays on 7-2 from 2:30 p.m. And for APIA, dedicated specialists ready to help, call 13 50 50. APIA, get, set, go. When we come back, Australian Open is on the agenda as we look ahead to what's going to be a massive 2021 in the world of lawn bowls.
From the wide outdoors to the great indoors, this is Without Bias. Local legends wanted. Search bowls clubs near me. The Bowl Show, Sundays on 7-2 from 2:30 p.m.
Welcome back to Without Bias on your Sunday morning on SEN, our dedicated lawn bowls show, all for APIA, proudly supporting Bowls Australia. Sam Hargraves and Barrie Lester with you. Don't forget, local legends are wanted. The Bowls Green is just up the road. Search bowls clubs near me. Baz, as we close the book on 2020, which couldn't have come quick enough, we look ahead now to what's going to be a jam-packed schedule for bowls in this country and abroad as well. We're working our way through event after event. Every month there is a feature event and sometimes many more to really wet the beak for those lawn bowls enthusiasts, of which there are many, and we're hoping to grow many more in 2021. So let's turn our attention to the Australian Open, one of the great events. 2,200 players, 14-odd disciplines, played across the entire Gold Coast, Coolangatta to Paradise Point, and it culminates in the final 2 days, live, free-to-air, and pay TV broadcast at Broadbeach. One of the hardest events to win, as you well know, mate, and a real highlight on the bowls calendar each year.
Yeah, and the best thing I love about this event, Sam, is if you're not successful on the green, you've got so much to do away from the greens. And I know last year we stayed in a nice place on the canals. We did a bit of fishing. We went out to the movie world, went to the fun parks, went to the beach, went out shopping, eating. There's just so much to do, and it's all pretty localised, really. And have you been to Topgolf, Sam? That is a ripper, mate. Have you checked that out?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
I've been past it a few times when I was living up there, and I kept saying before I head back to Victoria, I'll have to get in there, and I just never did. So next time I'm up, mate, you and I will go.
Yeah, well, I love a game of golf, and I know leading into the Asia Pacific Games a couple of years ago, we went there as a team builder, a bit of fun with the guys and the Jackaroos, and it was a really good setup. So yeah, there's so much to do, and you don't have to travel far, and all the clubs, the greens are really good. The climate's actually perfect, hence one of the reasons it's up there, up here on the Gold Coast, and I just like the fact that, yeah, from a carnival perspective, across all the events, disciplines, the disabilities, the over 60s, that, yeah, if bowls isn't working out for you, and I'm sure you intend to do well on the greens, but if it's not working out for you, you can definitely get away and do many other things and take in that everything the Gold Coast has to offer. And when you talk about prize money, it's actually a bit staggering to see that amount put up, but with the support of Gold Coast City Council and Gold Coast Tourism and everyone else, we've got to this stage, and then the media, the way it's all put together, you know, that back green at Broadbeach, I spoke about it last week, the green 4, it's just magic green, and the broadcast is fantastic, and with those amount of hours, it's why wouldn't you want to play in the Australian Open?
So, Baz, July, you might be pleased to know that you've got July off from national duties. But before we get into what's planned for the Jackaroos, when do you think that you'll be claiming that 200th national appearance? Have you looked at the calendar and thought that's probably it there?
Well, I think if you look at the Trans-Tasman, we will play 6 games, so in June. So that will technically get me over the line. So if that all can go ahead, I'll be looking forward to that moment. I must admit, it was a pretty long slog to remember get to 50 games, and I actually got 50 games in 2013 over in Glasgow, and that was a pretty special moment. And
wow,
to be able to get another 150 up, you know, it's actually a little bit emotional thinking about it, and especially to think what we've been through the last sort of 12 months. And but yeah, I'll be primed, ready to go, and I won't let it play on my mind too much, but when the moment comes, I'll enjoy it, and I know that the Jackaroos guys will get around me. But yeah,
where does that sit you in the echelon of games played?
I must admit, it's well off the highest games played in terms of there's from a men's perspective. I think there's, you know, guys like Aaron Sheriff and Alex Marshall and Steve Glasson and Rex Johnson, these guys high 300s, but you know, Karen Murphy 650 or 60 games in the women's. But I think you know, I might still sort of get up there a little bit in the 200 range, but it's taken 16 years, Sam, so to be capped back in 2006, but it's really great how Bowls Australia recognise it, and we really do get around our fellow teammates that have milestones, and we try and get up for them. But I played my 100th game at Gold Coast in 2017 with Aaron Sheriff in the pairs, and that was great to play my 100th. And if I can get that 200 over the line, I'll be pretty wrapped. But yeah, mate, it's just one of those special things. But looking forward to that Trans-Tasman with that first blood of international bowls for quite a while.
So July, and mate, you should be incredibly proud of that achievement. It's sensational. Hopefully it's a successful occasion for you as well. Hey, the Jackaroos in July will be planning a voyage overseas to England to prepare for the 2022 Birmingham Com Games.
Yeah, well, we were meant to go over last year for 3 weeks. I've been lucky enough to play in England quite a few times, and played it, you know, both in Wales and Scotland as well. And yeah, it's always a great opportunity to go over there. And I speak of just living out of different accommodation, eating different foods, acclimatising again, preparation, and that all does culminate in how you play on the green and how your performance is. So knowing you're going in prepared. So things like practicing on a croquet green or a tennis court or something like that, leading into a series or in a trip like that, you need to be prepared, and with your technique as well. Technique's definitely, for me, on a personal level, my technique changes quite severely. And yeah, but any time you can get overseas and prepare for a major event, you grab it with both hands, and ideally everything can go ahead to see that happen. And I know if that can't happen, Bowls Australia will have many contingencies in place to see that we're well prepared for those who actually compete in the 222 Com Games.
The Australian Indoors return to the fold August 16 to 19, Tweed Heads. It's played only indoors on carpet, and absolutely one of the fiercely contested competitions that we see, winners earning a berth into the World event.
Yeah, it's a really good event, a lot of rich history. 9 times Steve Glasson has won it. I think the next best from the men's perspective is 2 wins. So that tells you how good Steve Glasson was on the Australian Indoor at Tweed Heads. 9-time winner. I think Karen Murphy, a 6-time winner. Rich history, a lot of always good crowds, big crowds. Wayne Turley, and he'll run a great show there at Tweed Heads. And once again, good prize money, good surface, one of the best clubs in the world, one of the best facilities going around. And yeah, it's an event that we expect really good entries for Australia-wide. And then to see our state indoor champions all come to the Gold Coast and compete for that title, it's probably arguably one of the most prestigious singles tournaments in the world. And I know from an individual perspective, it's definitely a title I would definitely love on my resume, Sam.
Speaking of a title everyone would love on their resume, it doesn't get any bigger than September. The World Bowls Championships finally get underway, Gold Coast, September 7th to 19th. After 16 months of delay, you're in the Jackaroo squad of 10 players with a target firmly planted on your backs as the team to beat. You've had months to practice on the greens, being a Gold Coast local these days, in the hopes of earning a world title alongside your Jackaroos mates. This is the one you've been waiting for, though, Barrie Lester.
Yeah, it's the pinnacle, and definitely the one that we've waited for quite a while, and we've had to ride on that emotion. And Bowls Australia high performance staff, Steve Glasson, our coach, they've been really great. We've had regular Zoom meetings, updated information week to week, telling us how everything's moving, and we'll be having as many camps as we can and get-togethers to make sure that we're primed and ready to go for that. And as you see, just what we've spoken about the last 10-15 minutes, to see how everything is laid out in front of us, well, even more intricate than that is we've got our online calendars that we can all see from athlete to athlete, and we know what we're doing day to day, what our training looks like, etc. So really, if you put a lot of the domestic stuff aside and you said, all right, there's one thing I only want to do well in, and that is the World Championships this year from a Jackaroos perspective. So it's a pinnacle event, it's a major event, and we just want to do our country proud and hopefully do well.
I'm sure you will. Just in a word, the team to beat.
Always, you always probably don't look far past Scotland. The other one, always hard to beat, is New Zealand, because they do spend a lot of time on the greens over here as well. So
yep.
Scotland, coming out of the Northern Hemisphere, do seem to play well over here on the Gold Coast. But yeah, those two teams would be the ones to look out for.
We then move to October. We'll whip through the last couple of events. This is 6 events in one, an incredible initiative. The amalgamation of 6 events, the all-encompassing the Nationals, is scheduled for October 1st to 15th on the Gold Coast. This is a sensational idea, this one, real innovation, and it'll be keeping a close eye on, given the enormity of the events and the winners that will come from it.
This one, Sam, keeps a lot of bosses out there happy. This one's the one where you don't have to keep filling out all the leave forms saying, can I have another week off here, another week off there? This is purely you just walk up to your boss with the leave form and say, I'm going away for quite a while. I'm off to the Australian National Championships. So if you're lucky enough to play in quite a few of them, just probably the biggest carnival of bowls outside the Australian Open. So I know I want to feature in a lot of those events, and once again, being on the Gold Coast, it's what everyone will really thrive for. And just a great initiative, because a lot of them were scattered across the calendar throughout the year, and to sit down and say that they're all condensed into one program over a few weeks, no-brainer for me. And hopefully the boss says yes to getting some filling out my leave form, mate.
Mate, I'm sure he will. The third Bowls Premier League, so the third BPL, comes around in November of this year, 2021. Again, it's going to be at Pine Rivers, November 9th to 12th. Collectively this year, the BPLs will showcase bowls with $300,000 in prize money, 60 hours of live TV broadcast across 12 days, 5 hours a day. This will be a brilliant way to cap off a really big year for bowls with the third BPL, November at Club Pine Rivers.
It's a good problem to have, isn't it, when we might be bumping into people out there in the bowls community saying, geez, Barry, bowls is always on television, and we want them saying that. There's no doubt. So how good is that? 60 hours of live television broadcast across 12 days. That's incredible. So we're going to keep a lot of our stakeholders, members happy out there at Clubland. They can, with the technology now, I notice a lot of clubs are streaming through their televisions in their clubhouses, through their maybe their desktop computers, etc. So there's really no excuse not to have nearly bowls played throughout your TV screens in your clubhouses every day now. And there's a lot of content happening. So, and from there, one of the things too, Sam, is these players out there at Clubland, they can learn as well. They can watch and learn, because the more times they're watching the elite level play, they can actually pick up on some tips.
There's plenty of other big events littered through the calendar. The 500,000 Ultimate Bowls Championships, the $100,000 Everest of Bowls, bowls.com.au, the Bowls Australia website. Local legends wanted. Search bowls clubs near me. Bowls.com.au. Stay across all the news, all the results across what's going to be a massive year of lawn bowls, and we cannot wait to get stuck into it. Starts in Feb with the first of 3 BPLs for the year. Barrie Lester, have a great year, mate. I know that you're champing at the bit to get in there and get amongst it, get that 200th appearance for your country under the belt. It's going to be a ripping year, and I think that's what the doctor ordered after a pretty ordinary 2020. So bring on this year, 2021, from a bowls point of view. It's going to be brilliant.
Yeah, sure, mate. Can't wait. Thanks, Sam.
There we go. Without bias for your Sunday morning, SEN's dedicated lawn bowl show. Big thanks to your company. Big thanks to everyone's favourite, Jack Carew, Barrie Lester. And thank you to Apia, dedicated specialist, ready to help. Call 13 50 50. Apia, get, set, go. And don't forget the bowl show Sundays on 7-2 from 2:30 p.m. Have a great Sunday.